Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. He's Mike Brenner, and we are continuing our coverage of individual team previews in college football. Right now, we're taking a look at Houston, the Houston Cougars, the class of the AAC, and a very interesting team, right?
Yes.
High expectations, some very positive signs, some questionable advanced stats, though, for Houston, at least as far as last year turned out. Clearly, though, a strong team for the AAC, and they have transfers from some of the big programs, transfers from Texas, transfers from Oklahoma State. Last year, of course, they beat Florida State in the bowl game, went 13-1. So expectations are high this year. They are the favorite to win the AAC at plus 120, and to win the AAC West, they're minus 300. There's no other team that looks on their level in terms of talent. Their season win total 9.5, heavily juiced to the over. Minus 265 is the over, and the under is plus 185. And of course, last year was a big breakthrough with them, led by that quarterback Greg Ward, dynamic quarterback, dual threat, awesome guy. Not a big guy. He's like under 200 pounds.
Oh, I know. To look
prone
at
to
him.
injury. So if he goes down, it's a whole different ballgame for Houston. What's your take on Houston? Initial thoughts, Mike Brenner.
Kind of interesting how you said that, because a quote from Coach Tom Herman said the same thing. If our quarterback goes down, we're going to have issues because we're not as deep. And you just nailed it. He's not a big guy. I mean, he slides around, he presents problems, he gives you headaches, but one good lick and he could be down. But Memphis and Navy are really the only two that can challenge them in there. Navy will give them fits when they play him because Navy's running game, But I got a feeling, Pete, this team achieved so much last year and finished at 13-1. When they beat Florida State, they put a bullseye on their chest. So everybody's going to want a piece of them this year. Their schedule, okay, you got Louisville, you got Cincinnati. You open up, though, with Oklahoma. So shit's getting real in week one. At
least with week one, they'll be in top shape. They'll be in full health, which is a nice benefit.
Absolutely.
So Oklahoma will take their best shot. So they might be a good bet against Oklahoma. The question about betting, problem with betting against them, normally they'd have the profile of a team that I'd love to bet against in terms of their spreads, but they also have an underrated, I think, an underappreciated defense. They're impossible to run against.
13th in the nation.
Right.
I
mean, when people think about Houston, or at least when I hear
think
people
of air
talk
attack,
about,
right?
They think of like the huge scoring, which they do. But the defense, I think, is a lot more reliable. The defensive numbers from last year, I think, are a lot more predictive of what we'll see this year, and so that's not something I'd be too eager to bet against.
Not against. And when they brought Coach Tom Herman in 2014, that was the weapon. He really built this defense quietly, and that's why this team won 13 games last year. It wasn't based on this explosive offense. That had a huge part of it, but this defense has taken steps in the last 3 years particularly. So I agree, Pete, you couldn't have broke it down any more. They've got 4 starters gone from offense. They got 7 gone from defense. Now that is my question, but from what I read, they had some depth last year, so they're going to be bringing up some quality. So I like it. I think this team's going to give fits, and I look for them to pretty much have a similar year. I don't see a 13-1 record, but 9.5 wins, but juiced at minus 265. I don't know, Pistol Pete. That quarterback goes down, that puts that in jeopardy.
Yeah, absolutely. And the issue, though, is the defense, and they do have a huge talent edge over most of the teams in the AAC, though. So I wouldn't bet it, but if I had to make a bet on the 9.5, I would take a shot with the under at plus 185. I do think they'll win 10 or more games, but at those odds, I wouldn't take a shot with it exactly because if Ward goes down, and I think
Ward's going to be a target this year as well. They know
the offensive line is inexperienced, and even if the offensive line isn't inexperienced, it just takes one play, and then your whole season's changed. Right?
Absolutely. I don't know if they're going to average 40 points a game like they did last year.
Right. And they did get lucky, significantly lucky last year with their advanced stats. So my sense also is that I will be looking to fade them.
Me too.
Not necessarily in the Oklahoma game, but in most of their other games, I'm thinking that they're probably going to be a little bit overvalued, especially against certain teams where the spreads will get inflated as a big favorite. So it'll definitely be a game by game basis. But overall, I have a very mild lean towards fading Houston, and I certainly wouldn't bet on their season win total over. Although I also definitely wouldn't bet against them to win the AAC West. I wouldn't. I wouldn't bet them at minus 295, but I don't think there's a long shot that attracts me either.
I don't either. And also, week 3 at Cincinnati, look out. They better be careful there in that game. That could be danger right there.
Yeah, definitely. The AAC teams are going to be gearing up for them, and they might be a little bit more vulnerable than people might assume at first glance based on how things went previous year. Excellent preview, Mike Brenner.
Absolutely. Hey, speaking of which, are you still putting those picks on OCD?
Oh, yeah. You know what my last pick was?
What was it?
Check it. It was over 2.5 rounds in the Silva Cormier fight. Plus 150.
How'd it do?
UFC. Of course it won.
That's what I wanted to
Yeah,
hear. Of course
absolutely.
it won.
Yeah.
Pistol Pete, second half slick is on fire. But seriously, check out our picks, ocdpicks.com. And also, guys, click that like button. We want to stick around, all right?
Always on the go? Bet365 has one of the top mobile platforms in today's market. Sign up today and don't let your busy life keep you out of the game.